Hi Sagittarius, it's Athena. Welcome back to your July 2021 video. Okay, so here in the United States, we celebrate Independence Day. For those of you who are celebrating, happy Independence Day, but for those of you who are not, makes no difference. The theme, the thread, the common denominator for the month of July across the board for all is about independence, being independent, financially independent, emotionally independent. Are you with someone but still allowing yourself and them to have their own independence as well? It's important. We don't think about it, do we? Right? Because what's the opposite of independent? Codependent. Okay, so let's start. This is for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Let's see what's going on for July. Okay. Saggies, let's see what's happening for you guys. All right, we have, setting boundaries. 7 of Wands. Setting boundaries, not listening to others, not wanting to, be a part of something that maybe you don't believe in, or you're guarding your right to believe in what it is that you want. How important is that? Well, for Saggies, it's really what depicts your personality, because Saggies are typically very independent and based upon the independence of what? Your truth. It's all about your truth and the truth of others. So here someone feels like they're trying so hard to be independent and stick up for themselves. However, someone else, or maybe it's a feminine, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius here, who feels stuck, who feels tied, bound, and stuck. And here it could be you if you have air in your chart. Where do you feel stuck in your life? Do you feel like you have been setting boundaries, right? Masculine and feminine here, the yin and the yang, okay? So where is it that we're setting boundaries? And this is love. Do you feel a sense of codependency in a relationship? We have the Page of Cups. In love, are you setting your boundaries, and does someone else feel stuck, or do you feel stuck? Right? How do we free ourselves? Look at the butterfly here with the seahorses. This is a transformative period of time in love, okay? It's time to take a look at what has happened, okay? What do we have here? The Knight of Wands. It's time to take a look at what has happened. The volcanic eruption has happened in the backdrop. That backdrop is something happened, something has exploded, something has needed to, right? When something is feeling very stuck, right here with these two cards, when you feel very stuck, you have only something has to give. Right? And that's the eruption behind the Knight of Wands. The eruption had to happen in love, in a relationship. Something had to give in order to get. So what it is, it could be you, or it could be someone that you're with. Something had to happen so that we could start new. And let it be said that the Page of Pentacles says, I get it now. I understand, but I'm also a page. But are you a page with an ego? Are you being immature about a situation that you're trying to wrap your head around? Or is someone else? So the peacock tends to, not always, has a sense of, the feather in the cap. It could be a sense of accomplishment, or it could also be a sense of the ego, right? The immature ego. Did you feel like here in love, you have 2 pages with an explosion in the middle. This could be children, they're 2 pages. Something could have happened with the dynamic of a family unit. Look, masculine, feminine, and children. And whatever happened, whatever had to erupt, the eruption put back a sense of stability in one's life, right? You have to have something has to give in order for someone to understand and maybe not feel so blinded by, right? She's blindfolded. Blinded by what she doesn't know. Maybe someone didn't want to face the truth of a situation. That's what the 8 of Swords is. Trying to face the truth of a situation they didn't want to look at. They're blinded by their own truth or someone else's truth. Could it be the children? Could it be a masculine who's trying to set boundaries but feels like someone doesn't understand them? Okay, look. All right, the Hangman reverse. Well, what did we do here? What did we do? We're forgiving and trying to change the perspective on what someone else's truth and or feelings are. Truth of feelings right here. Truth of feelings, right? And that became the eruption that happened was something had to happen in order for us to start over and change our perspective. Okay? Are we talking about the freedom that one gets when they understand now what it took to get there? Are we understanding? Because she still has a blindfold on and she still feels stuck, right? Are we trying to work through this? Through what? Through the forgiveness of another's actions or the self, right? Are we trying to, this pentacle and this, this is my card. If you've been watching me long enough, the Hangman reverse is a good card saying that I've learned to change my mindset in order to receive the fruits of my labor. And the Hangman reversed is pennies from heaven, which is what? Spirit has your back. Spirit saying, don't worry. If you're willing to start over, change your perspective, and forgive others, you've learned so much already. That's beautiful. All right, let's continue. Let's get another couple cards for Saggies. Look at that. The Lovers. And it's not reversed. It's upright. So when it comes to love, right? And or thinking about love, all right, this guy is not in the 3D. He's not. She is. She is emotionally vulnerable. Look at her body. She's emotionally vulnerable. And he is in the 5D. But do you realize that with the Lovers card here, we've got someone who is very wanting to protect and take care of this woman. So this doesn't necessarily mean present day lover. It doesn't. It could mean someone's higher self is trying to help someone gain protection, stability, and someone could be dreaming. This is a dream of, I really dreamed of someone coming into my life that could make me so vulnerable. There's all the water here. Look at that. And we have a full moon right here. Under the guise of the full moon, someone has definitely lived a past life. Look at these columns. These are very ornate, hieroglyphic Egyptian. Look at that. This is all Egyptian. Someone is with someone from a past life. Someone is meeting someone who is a potential lover from another past life that you've had, but this female has freed herself. Look at that. Look at this. She went from being completely stuck to being vulnerable and free. And what did it? What happened, Sag? Here, this is what happened. The explosion. Something always needs to get to the root of the problem. Look at all the red and the orange. That is the root and sacral chakra. In order for something to grow, which is the peripheral of this page, sorry, Knight of Wands, I always do that, of the Knight of Wands, there's growth to be had here. But first, something really had to get down to the basics. We had to get down to the bottom of the root chakra of what the issue is here in love. Look, what is it truly in love that is going to free this woman to become what? Vulnerable once again. Right? And these two cards depict how it happened or how it will be happening in the month of July. Someone is going to go back to the drawing board. Yeah, he's a page, but that doesn't matter. He still wants to learn. He's still willing to learn, and he's still willing to change his perspective in order to bring a more united understanding of one's vulnerability into play. You need to realize that someone who becomes vulnerable needs to be guided. It's not easy to be vulnerable. It's very difficult to be vulnerable. Dreaming of a lover and or being with someone now who you can see and change your perspective in how you deal with this person. If you're, right? I'm not really a fan of kill 'em with kindness. I'm really not. I'm more of a fan of, I'm more understanding of someone's ability to break down all the barriers of what one thought in the past they needed, wanted, or what they thought of, right? Their perspective of things had to change. And I'm a big fan of someone who says, wait a second, give me a minute so that I can change my perspective and become vulnerable again. That takes a very big person to do. A strong will of determination right here. This is determination. This is will. I want to make it work. The will, it's a 7. The Lovers is Gemini. The Page of Cups is Pisces. We have Leo, Aries, Sag, and we do have Gemini and Pisces here. There it is, Libra. It's not, I don't feel that's Libra. I feel, if anything, it's the Lovers, a Gemini or a Pisces, because the Page of Cups, okay? And the Page of Pentacles could very well be Earth as well. I don't feel that as much as I feel the love that's going on in order to stabilize here, stabilizing the love. Can you see that? Hold on. Here we go. Stabilizing the love for another is going to cause havoc. It has. It will. It already happened, probably in June. And we changed our perspective to become more vulnerable, freeing ourselves now and going back to the drawing board of where do we begin? Again, another full moon. Look at that. The next full moon going on, the next one coming up in July, is going to depict the an ending of the way one thought here. An ending of the way one thought how two can come united, seahorses looking at one another. The transformation is, in order to make this work, I need to change my perspective, and I need to look at this also getting to the core of the issues here so that I can become vulnerable again as a child. A child is vulnerable. A child always, a child says, well, why do we do it this way? Why is this way or that way? That's what a child's perspective, that's looking from a child's, through the eyes of a child. And someone has done that. Someone has allowed to enlighten another whom they're with or will be with in order to free yourself and become more vulnerable. That will indeed balance out the yin and yang of a relationship. And here's the yin and yang. Let me show you. Here's the yin and yang. Setting the boundaries, changing the dynamic of a relationship or one that is ready to manifest is all about surrendering to the perspective of how to free oneself and become vulnerable. The secret, the answer of the transformation is called looking through the eyes of a child. Do you see yourself with love, looking at a love situation through the eyes of your childhood, another child, children? You have two children here. You have a page of cups and a page of pentacles. The transformation that we seek in relationships is to always question why through the eyes of innocence. The bottom of the deck. There you go. She has freed herself. She has gained her highest knowledge. This is the dove, the highest form of peace. This is the angel, our spirit guides helping us to free ourselves. The ram is about the strength and determination to set the boundaries and the course of this dynamic of relationship here, of what has happened, and the courage to be honest and vulnerable through forgiveness. Don't forget, you got to forgive in order to move on. This is a beautiful reading, Saggies. Absolutely beautiful. Look at love, Saggies, through the eyes of a child. And that will change the dynamic of the love that you have. And that will free you. That will free you. You will gain your independence and you will free yourself to become vulnerable by looking at love, asking questions, just like a child does, but through the eyes of the innocence of a child. When we gain, right, when we become kings and queens and emperors and empresses, we establish that love and divine love, but we don't necessarily do so on the same level as a child who has the innocence and ability and capability to change the dynamic of their perspective of what they're dealing with and going through. And this is what you are being called to do. and that will free you up. Whether it is with someone or without someone makes no difference here. Look, with or without. The issue here is freeing yourself up to become vulnerable again like a child. Have a great month. I send you much love, and we'll talk soon.